Hey, good day to all of our awesome BitClub Network following. Some of you are opting into our list, and you may or may not be a part of our organization when things launch, but that's quite okay. You maybe saw some things on YouTube or some other leaders with some other teams. Again, we want to help each and every one of you, no matter who your line of sponsorship is, to build your BitClub Network business. Now, I want to offer some value. We've got a webinar tonight. And so you should see that information. You should, if you're getting this, I'm only sending this out to one, maybe two lists of folks that have either going to be part of my personal enrollment tree or folks that have opted in already at bcnwebinar.com. Okay, so I'm not sending this out to my mass list, okay? So you already likely registered for the webinar. I will put the webinar link here just in case. And you should get a follow-up messaging from GoToWebinar. Okay, all right. Now, with that being said, I want to make sure that we give you some value, okay? One of the things that we have done is we did record our last live webinar. I will be making that available probably over the weekend, okay? And then, so that way, you'll be able to use that live webinar, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then just get people to come back to you to get registered, okay? Now, ultimately, what we're going to have is let's say that live webinar broken down into bite-sized digestible pieces and what we will call modules. I've already begun cutting the videos for those modules. I'm just about finished, to be honest with you, in terms of the initial cutting of the videos. I've got to go back and edit and then render the videos. So once we launch that, one of my great mentors said that a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. Our aim is to have some type of, ultimately, some type of presentation funnel type system. We won't start off with that because a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. So what we'll start off with is modules with the links where you can, as you're communicating with your potential prospects, you could say, watch this first, watch this second, so on and so forth. Some of you that are in my personal list, you saw how we gave you what we called some homework. And in that homework, we gave you a series of steps to follow those steps specifically, and many of you obviously did that. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that with this type model, okay, there's going to be folks that's going to want to present this model in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I think you do yourself an injustice. You do the prospect an injustice. Most people that are going to be exposed to BitClub Network early on don't have a big frame of reference as it relates to Bitcoin. When we ask the question on live webinars and we do polls, how would you classify your knowledge base on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest about Bitcoin? Invariably, about 75–80% of the audience would say that their knowledge base is below average, meaning they just don't know a lot. And so to present this let me hurry up and present this and just join and just selling the sizzle, I think you're going to miss out. And let me give you an example of what I mean. All right, so there was one of our folks who'll be personally enrolled by me, came to the first webinar, got excited, but he was only committing. I asked the question, what's your budget to get started? He was only committing to the $99 and the $500 unit purchase, okay? But as he came to more webinars, and even though it was the same information primarily, he got the same information, but it hit him differently because he heard something the second time he didn't hear the first time, or he heard something the third time that he didn't hear the second time, so on and so forth. And so the information, the education, an educated consumer consumes more, okay? The education process, him now really, it's starting to click. He just Skyped me on yesterday saying, man, I'm going to be a founder. I'm going to do a unit, the 500, the 1,000, and the 2,000. Now, obviously, I would want him, as I would want anyone, to only do that if they have the resources, okay, if it's not going to hurt their family and they're comfortable in doing so. Now, why did I say all of that, okay? Let's say that this was your prospect, and you tried to rush through the information, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, go on and sign up, okay? That prospect is probably not going to have enough information to feel comfortable, even if they had the resources of making any larger purchases. So let's say whether you're getting a 15% commission or 20 or 25 or 27.5, depending on what team they fall in for you as your personal enrollee, that let's say 15%. All right, so a 15% commission on a $500 one unit purchase in the $500 pool is $75 in Bitcoin. 15% on 3,500 is, I believe, is 375. So what's the difference between earning $75 in Bitcoin and then earning $375 in Bitcoin? It was education. That person feeling more confident that this is going to work, and that's why we're doing the modules the way that we are doing those. So the way the modules will work is right now I know there's going to be at least 6 modules, maybe even 7 or 8. Where basically we're taking the webinar that we've been doing live. All right, we feel like we've got some really good messaging with that. We're taking that webinar and we're breaking it down in bite-sized, digestible pieces. Like the first module is 11 minutes, as an example. And we are telling people to watch each module every second in chronological order. When we do our live webinar, that live webinar has about 90 minutes of initial content, selling people, getting people to buy in on the next internet, Bitcoin being the next internet, 1. 2, don't miss out. So we show the slides of people that did the Facebook IPO, employees that became millionaires, Twitter employees that became millionaires, and then there were people though that was there but they missed out because they didn't take action. Okay, so there is a method behind that messaging. Then we go into the pools. And then we do an optional session where we go into the compensation. All right. So when you do all of that, that's about a 2-hour presentation. Okay. Now, I believe for people to get it and feel comfortable, it takes that. I believe. When we did our homework assignment, for those that were in my personal list, it was more than 2 hours. It was a 30-minute video initially. Then it was 3 videos that totaled about 10 minutes apiece, so about 40 minutes there. And then it was a 2.5-hour webinar, and then we gave them specific steps to follow, and many of them followed, and those are the ones that are definitely going to be in great position as we get things started. So my whole point is we're developing this way to break it down in bite-sized pieces, because when all of a sudden people just see the modules and they're not looking at, oh, this is 2 hours or 3 hours worth of content. They're seeing 11, 15 minutes here, they're seeing 20 minutes there. Then they can absorb that information in bite-sized pieces. So we've done that in the past, and that has worked immensely well. So I want you to know we were up in our office till about 2:30 in the morning this morning working on that. So expect that it'll start off with just maybe some links. Then ultimately what we'll have some type of presentation structure, some type of presentation system, maybe even have something that's replicated so that you could put in your links. Now, if we get to that point where it's something replicated, that's probably not something that we're going to be able to offer for free, because it costs us to get that done and to replicate it out, and we'd be paying on a monthly basis. So I don't necessarily anticipate it wouldn't be much. But for those of you that are going to want that where it's replicated, so that essentially when we say, hey, get back to the person that referred you in the module training and go on and get registered, well, right there, the game plan is ultimately they can just go on and click on the button and be taken directly to your BitClub referral site. Obviously, nobody's got that yet until the system launches. So I just wanted to provide some value for you today, not just a reminder of the webinar, let you know some things that we're working on to help you. We're committed to helping you build your BitClub network business. Because again, in my mind, yes, I want to make a lot of money with the mines. Yes, I want to make a lot of money with the compensation. But remember what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is, boy, if we can assist this BitClub mine operation to getting to 500,000, getting to 1 million participants, and then they launch that coin, and that coin, the BCN coin, as I like to refer to it as, and that coin is, you know, it's not worth much at first. It's worth a few pennies. People start doing some exchanging of BCN coin. That helps to allow that coin to appreciate potentially, but ultimately, if they're able to go to a Shopify or a gift.com or a number of other sites and say, hey, we've got 1 million folks, we've got our own coin, take our coin, our 1 million folks will do business with you. Now what happens to the potential value of that coin? Keep this in mind, and we'll start to round third with this video. The first Bitcoin transaction was 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. If those 2 pizzas cost in US dollar terms $30 US combined, okay, for the 2 pizzas. If you take the $30 divided by 10,000 Bitcoin, that meant that the Bitcoins were going for less than a penny, about 3/10 of a penny, a third of a penny. Think about that, a third of a penny. With Bitcoin being at $500 a coin, those same 10,000 Bitcoins that were transferred, that were used to buy 2 pizzas, would be worth about $5 million. That, for me, is the bigger picture, okay? Yes, let's make money every single day, whether we have a list or not, with no sponsoring required and no auto ship and no monthly subscription. Yes, for those of us that build the team, let's make some immense commissions to help us grow our pool balances, so we're earning more Bitcoin, as well as obviously converting some into whatever your currency is, so that you can pay your bills and then do some advertising and even have a better standard of living for the time being. But in my mind, the bigger payoff, just like that employee with Twitter, that employee with Facebook. Now, we're not talking about owning stock, okay? But conceptually, if that coin launches and it's just worth pennies, and you're scooping up as much as you can, I'm scooping up as much as I can, and then eventually those coins go to 50 cents, go to $1, go to $5, go to $10, go to $100. Keep this in mind, that in the beginning of 2013, I believe Bitcoin was, I have to go back and look at my figures. Bitcoin was under $20 a coin. It was far less than that, but I don't want to give you wrong information. So I know it was far less than $20 a coin. And we saw Bitcoin in 2013, towards the end of 2013, get all the way up to $1,100 a coin. Now, obviously, it's not $1,100 a coin now, but even if you had gotten Bitcoin when it was $1, $2, $5, $10 a coin, even though it went up and now it's come down and it's in that $4, $60, $80, $500 range, you wouldn't be sweating, would you? You got Bitcoin for $10 a coin, and now it's going for $500. You'd be in really good shape, especially if you loaded up on Bitcoin. Okay. All right. So hopefully you appreciated this this value added video. We love each and every one of you. We'll see you on tonight. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Make sure you're setting up your Bitcoin e-wallets, guys. This baby's going to be going live in the next few days. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.